What is up, everyone? Killer here, bringing you another video, and this time, it's not Terra. What I wanted to talk about today is the classes and races of Blade and Soul. Blade and Soul is going to probably be your next hyped game. As far as MMOs, it's going to be free to play, and it's going to be in closed beta late October of 2015. This is for US. You can already play the game on Taiwan. You can already play the game on Japan, China, Russia, all of which have their own different game patches, which is kind of insane. But this is being published on NA finally by NCSoft. What you're seeing here is the Taiwanese version, which I am currently actively playing, just to get a feel for the game, to understand the game. But once again, this is going to be a classes and races overview of Blade and Soul, so let's get on into that. First, we'll go over the races. You have 4 different races that are available in the game, and you can have a male and female to each of them. So you're not having an Ellen only be, female. You're not having a Papori only be male, or whatever it may be. You have the option of being a male or female on every single one. You have the Jin. The Jin is basically your typical little Asian girl. And one thing to note about the classes as well, there are limited numbers of classes that each race can be. So if you want to be an assassin, for example, guess what? You have to be a Jin or you have to be a Kun. Alright? You cannot be a Gon assassin. You cannot be a Lyn assassin. So keep that in mind whenever you're like, oh, this is the class that I want to play, if you're really dead set on a race. So, Jin, your typical kind of Chinese girl, a little bit smaller of a physique. Blade and Soul has a very unique art style to begin with. Very, very long legs with like the thighs are real, and the biddies are pretty big. Definitely a unique style. So you can kind of see this kind of cool little style to it, right? Next up is the Gon. Or here, actually, let me show you the male version of the Jin. This guy looks like he looks like he's 16, but he's tatted up and ready to like fuck some people up, basically. This is more, I guess, alright, if you played a high elf male, if you played a more of a fancy boy, then this is pretty spot on for you. Alright. Next up is the Gon. Gon are big motherfuckers, alright? These guys are huge in game. Like, if you look at these guys and they have like their height slider kind of fucking up there, Gon are massive. So if you played like a Baraka, if you played like an Amon, and you want just this built motherfucker, then guess what? Gon's gonna be perfect for you. Even their female version is tall as holy shit. And once again, I mean, you got biddies. You definitely got biddies in this game. As you can see, most costumes are fairly like tight-laced. The graphics overall in the game are pretty awesome, but oh man, it's a very unique art style. Next, which is what everyone cares about, right? This is the Lyn. Lyn is your Ellen. You can be male or female with it. They have tails. They're different little animals. You can have a dog. You can have a cat. Their tails are always like really bushy though, which is kind of weird. But they're a pretty fun little class, right? And well, here's the girls' class. But as you can see, all the Lyns quite XD. The males basically are along the same lines. If you just want to be this little guy who, I don't know, they're like little kids. Lyn are closer to little kids than Ellens were, alright? Ellens were not as little kiddish, in my opinion, as the Lyn. And then lastly, the Kun. Kun, this is your typical model. I would say your Castanic female, you know, your Castanics. Very, very fashiony, very, like, slim, petite. Not as tall as the Gon, not as built as the Gon, but very, you know, good looking. And Kun actually can only be female. I actually did not know that. Okay. So Kun can only actually be female, so if you want something that could be a Blademaster or Forcemaster and that's it, then you can go about playing, you know, the Jin or the Kun. Now, more into the classes, because I know this is more of what you're kind of concerned about. The Assassin. They did an excellent job, an absolutely excellent job portraying how the Assassin plays. You probably have seen the video that you're seeing up here, showcasing like how an Assassin plays. They use a lot of like vanishes. They have fucking ninja style like Shinobu, like, you know, the wood replacement. I know all of you weeaboos out there have watched Naruto and think it's the best anime ever, but it puts a lot of emphasis on your timing, like lots of getting like behind the target, knocking them up into the air, dropping landmines. You utilize poison, landmines, flashbang grenades, a whole bunch of different things, which are they did a excellent job with the Assassin. From what I understand, it is a kind of hard class to play. Like, executing the combos well is kind of on the hard side. However, it's very linear. Like, once you do this, you are guaranteed to do this, then you are guaranteed to do this, then you're guaranteed to do this, right? So it's not like super complex, but it's hard to like pull everything off. So one thing to note about the classes in this game, guys, is that if you have a lack of ping, any class that takes a lot of fast execution, you're gonna want good ping for. The U.S. servers are gonna be in Dallas, okay, so Texas. So this game is definitely going to be very, very ping oriented, but there are some classes just like Terra that you can get away with a little bit higher ping. So that's kind of how the Assassin plays. Next up is the Blademaster. This is your apparent tank class actually in the game. Blademasters basically utilize lots of knockups. Their sword, they utilize a sword which can basically get imbued with like fire or get imbued with lightning. They do a lot of like juggling type mechanics, which means knock you up into the air, you know, slice you a couple times up there, and then like drop like a lightning field under you with their sword, and then go about doing like this whole, you know, basically combo. The combat in this game is very combo oriented. This class is also considered more of the tank class in the game. Which means that you can basically counter, you can parry. You actually saw at the very end there how it did a lightning strike through it. Knocks it up in the air, does like a fire sword, additional knockup, slams him into the ground with another fucking stab, some AoE stabs, and then finish it off with like that quick lightning dash. Blademaster seems like it's going to be a really, really fun class. However, what you're going to see that I'm going to play up is next. BM Blademaster, you can manage with lesser ping from what I've seen, because the combos are fairly straightforward. So this is going to be the class that you can like very effectively play with like medium average ping. You know, obviously the less you have, the even better it is. Here's what I'm playing. 4 out of 5 stars difficulty. I think that they actually did a decent job telling you what your difficulty is going to be, because this is the Kung Fu Master. Once again, this is another class that they've done an excellent job in showcasing. because Kung Fu Master is exactly what you can imagine it as. It is punches, kicks, grapples, fucking all that kind of stuff. Like, and it is extremely fast paced. Every single skill that you're going to see, and I'm probably going to have some gameplay content that you're going to see on my YouTube as well, because I am currently leveling a Kung Fu Master. This class is extremely fast. There are lots of different routes of how to combo with this class. Like, it's not like the assassin where it's like, okay, I'm gonna land this skill, I'm then going to like trip him and then knock him up, and once I knock him up, I'll suspend him in the air, then drop the mine, then like explode that. Like, very linear, right? This, it's like, okay, I'm going to counter. Did he attack? Okay, he attacked the counter. Now I can kick him with this stun, trip him, knock him up. Once he's knocked up, then I'll fucking drop him to the ground or whatever it may be. Okay, then I need to like retreat back. Okay, now let's see. Oh, my character actually successfully dodged this attack. Now I can kick into a stun, throw him back, trip him to the ground, jump on top of him, punch him a couple times. Like, there's tons of different combos that this class will do, which I hopefully will be able to showcase in the future. I can't do the fancy ass ones yet because my ping isn't good enough on the Taiwan servers. I play with like 200 ping, but I live in Texas, so US release is gonna be sweet. All right, next up, the Warlock. Okay, this is the newest class that's been added to Blade and Soul. She's pretty cute though. But what Warlock is think of a mystic with a constant thrall of wrath. That's what the Warlock is. From what I understand, they're fairly easy. Like, they're fairly straightforward in terms of how they play their class. But from what I've seen of this class, their damage is fucking crazy. Like, they have lots of like magical, like, demon chain looking fucking things, and that can like suspend their opponent to the ground, fucking, and then they proceed to like AoE nuke the shit out of them. And they have like this like vortex pull skill on their thrall of fucking Exodia, demon Exodia. And from what I understand, it's fairly straightforward, and I think a lot of people will be trying to play this class, honestly. It looks pretty sweet. But if you want something that's pretty more on the easy side to play, and especially having distance to begin with, Warlock is something that you can definitely consider playing. So, once again, this is the emphasis that I said over your race. These are the only classes that the Jin can be. This is the most classes a race can be. You can only be an assassin as a Jin. Alright? So, keep that in mind. If whenever you're going to be playing something, you need to look at your race combination as well. Next up, we'll go into the Gon. We already know what the Kung Fu Master does, so now we'll go into the Destroyer. Destroyer is as you imagine it. Big, bulky, two-handed axe wielding, spin to win fucking champion who does fucking work with a lot of basically spins and grips and knockups, pile drives into the fucking ground. Insane big damage with this class. You're probably wondering, oh, Cameron, why are you not playing the fucking the Destroyer, your Berserker main? The reason why is because the Destroyer class is different than the Terra Berserker class. There isn't a charging mechanic to deal more damage. It's all just big swipes and then like Cyclone, basically Garen mode. They are very strong in PvE from what I've seen, but they're very straightforward of a class. They're considered the easiest class to play in the game because it's basically like you use like 3 skills and then you just spin. Like, you just spin until like those 3 skills kind of reset again. Your main focus is on a couple of just very, very strong hits in comparison. Very, very, like, you go in, you burst real quick with like 2 or 3 strong hits, and then you just kind of like spin around and waiting for another grip, so you can actually grip people, punch them a couple times in the air, then just like throw them up in the air and then pile drive them to the ground. Very high burst, very straightforward class. It looks fantastic. So if you're looking for something that might be a little bit on the easier side to play, and you like the AoE and just like the two-handed axe feel, then this is definitely a class that I could recommend to you. Now, the Lyn has actually all of the classes that we are going to be talking about, or the last ones. Lyn having 2 exclusive classes, actually. 2 exclusive classes to the Lyn. So that's pretty interesting. Well, not necessarily super exclusive. The first one that I'm going to be showcasing here is the Lyn Blademaster. This is well, as it is, Lyn Blademaster. The animations are different. The style of combat is a slightly bit different. But you still have a lot of focus on your... you still have a major focus on like the Blademaster style. This means you're going to be countering. You're more offensive based than the normal Blademaster. You're not gonna have like threat increasing type stuff. You're going to be having more just pure offense, more AoE, more offense compared to your standard Blademaster. I actually have experience playing the Lyn Blademaster up to level 30. You have basically the Reaper Death Spiral skill, which is just a giant AoE spin, which can apply bleeds, does okay damage. It's more of like a filler skill, but then you have a lot of just spamming high damage, like this flame sword right here. You're gonna see here in just a second. This one right here. Boom, 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 boom. Like, all of those are really high damage skills. And then you have a lot more of a focus on grips. Like, grips meaning you actually lift your opponent into the air, and then you can, like, toss them and suspend them in the air while, like, attacking them at that point. It's pretty cool for a Lyn Blademaster. A lot more emphasis on AoE, a lot more emphasis on kind of flashier skills compared to the standard Blademaster. So if you wanted to play a Blademaster and you wanted to make a Lyn, guess what? They have the perfect match for you. Next up is the Summoner. The Summoner is an interesting class. It is not pure support. Some people would kind of expect it to be, and the difficulty here, I think, is pretty wrong. At first, it's going to be fairly simple, but later on, there's a lot more micromanaging you do for a summoner than you would find like a destroyer or something like that. Anyway, so the summoner actually has a pet. It actually has a little cat pet, which helps support you. This thing is basically your offense. It wields a giant fucking hammer. It trips targets. The cat will fucking hop on top of them and scratch their fucking eyes out. The summoner themselves can be buffing their pet, healing their pets, and applying like damage over time and root effects. So if you like a more along the lines of it is not a pure support, guys. It is not a pure support because there is no healer in this game. You could consider playing the Summoner. It looks pretty interesting. Lots of kiting oriented around this class because you're basically a dot based class outside of a couple of burst skills that your cat has. So if you're interested in having a little pet that you can customize and play, I think a lot of females who are going to be playing the game will be playing the Summoner. At least based on the healer trend that Terra had for healers. Lastly is going to be the Forcemaster. Forcemaster is a very interesting class, actually. This is your ranged caster. This is, the Warlock, you had your, like, Thrall going out and fucking going crazy and shit. This is your Sorcerer, okay? What makes this class so interesting is that they have basically two distinct playstyles. For those of you who played World of Warcraft, you can imagine a fire mage plays way different than an ice mage. Well, slap those two motherfuckers together and you have a Forcemaster. The Forcemaster can at will change between fire skills and ice skills. And this basically makes it to where they can have this crazy emphasis of like, I'm gonna like cast like 3 fireballs at you, which apply like a damage over time while you're running at me, and then I'll switch to ice for a quick second, freeze you in place, or switch to ice, throw like 5 frost bolts, like small frost bolts at you, which freezes the target, like legitimately freezes them. And then at that point, he's going to switch back over to fire, call a meteor storm down on you, and then hold you in place. He's literally going to grip you into the air and hold you in the meteor storm, or even the even like a firewall that they place, and then he'll like switch back to frost, and then like glacial retreat away from you. Forcemasters are fairly squishy. You know, they definitely take quite a bit of damage, but they are kiting gods. So if you like to play the caster classes, Forcemaster is definitely going to be something that I would recommend. In terms of skill it takes to play the class, and ping it takes to play the class, obviously the better ping you're going to be doing, but I think Forcemaster is something that you can manage with no matter what your ping is, which I think is good. Anything that's going to give distance and range, I mean, as we all know, is definitely an advantage whenever you're playing with a little bit higher ping. The Summoner and the Forcemaster, I think, are the two classes that really don't have any kind of ping reliance in comparison. The Lyn Blade, what I would consider mid-tier for ping, would probably be your Lyn Blademaster, maybe your Destroyer. This would be closer to like the anyone can play it. Lyn Blademaster, Assassin, Warlock. I think all of those are kind of middle tier, while the Blademaster and the Kung Fu Master, I would say are more ping oriented, because you're having to pull off a lot more skills in a much shorter amount of time. Alright guys, hopefully you found this video informational. I'm going to, if you liked it, if you're hyped for it, make sure to click a like down below if you want to see more Blade and Soul content. If you say no, you can fuck yourself, you're going to see it regardless. But I just wanted to get this video out, and I wanted everyone to get behind the hype train that is Blade and Soul, because I think that this is going to be a really good game, guys. So if y'all want to make sure to leave a like, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Kilrian, because it updates anytime I upload to YouTube or stream. And yeah, I'll catch y'all next time. Thanks for watching, guys.